Hey everyone, today's episode of the Kansas City Mafia Tour, we went to a Mafia social club in Kansas City, Missouri. The name of the social club was called The Trap. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to get the rest of this Kansas City Mafia Tour, and without further ado, let's get into it.
So we're coming up on The Trap, which is the Northview Social Club, or this is Columbus Park. They also called it the Columbus Park Social Club. This house over here on the left with the white porch and the wrought iron post there, that's where Tuffy DeLuna's mother lived. As a matter of fact, when we served a search warrant on his house after the skim trial, the wiretaps ended on the skimming from Las Vegas investigation, they served one on there because they picked up something that he had something hid there, and they found a bulletproof vest, a couple bulletproof vests, some guns, and they'd all been stolen out of ATF and DEA agents' cars downtown because we had this little crew of mob associates that were hitting the parking lots where the DEA and the ATF were and breaking in their cars and stealing guns and bulletproof vests and radios out of them.
Damn. So that what was the warrant issued for? Was it for that guns or what?
I didn't read the PC on that one, so it was something they picked up on the wire. I just know they served it on his mother's house.
And so
and she lived there. But this is a trap. You see where that says available?
Yep.
Well, that you can go buy that if you want. They tell me it's $250,000 for that corner there.
Damn.
So the trap was just under that. That was behind that black car. That was the front door into the trap. We drive by and all these dudes with in the winter leather jackets, and in the summer just no jackets and pull over polo shirts and Sansabelt polyester slacks would be hanging around out front, and they'd be parked all over the place here. And then that door with the curve, see, there was a second floor on there, and upstairs there were apartments.
Mm-hmm.
So one night there was an FBI agent had broke in and was down the he put in some mics, and he's down the basement stringing some wire, because with mics you'd think with a mic you'd like have it go to a sending unit and then send it to a van out here. Well, they didn't do that. That didn't work very good, to be honest. That didn't work at all to speak of. They'd hook it up to a telephone line that would then go to a box that then would hook it up to another telephone line, which would go back into the wire room. So you had a hardwired into the mic whenever you put a mic in. So Tony, this dude's name, the FBI agent, Tony started out the front door because he just picked the front door, and he started out the front door, but he heard something, and somebody was coming down those stairs and opened that door, so he kind of peeked and looked out, and there was Willie Comisano Jr. coming out. He had been upstairs, spent the night with some girl, and this is about 5 o'clock in the morning, so he was coming out to go home. He was parked across the street, so he just laid low till Willie cleared the area and took off. And then next door, that was a restaurant. I believe it was the Hacienda. I believe they called it the Hacienda. It's been three different names, but it was set up as a restaurant, and it was vacant for a period of time during the 70s when there was so much focus on the mob and wiretaps, and that's where they actually picked Nick Savella up on that telephone, the guy that ran the social club, Frankie Tusa. The day the Chiefs played the Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings in 1970, the books were out of balance. The mob doesn't bet. They get the balance book. They want an equal number of bets on both sides of a contest, and they drag the VIG, the 10% VIG for the losers pay. So he was worried, and he called Nick at home, and Nick was, expressed interest and expressed control with that phone call that the books were out of balance and they needed to do something, and that gave him a 3-year conviction for running a sports book operation. So the FBI, during the 70s, during some of this time, that was 1970, like later 70s, when we were running the wiretaps on the skim, the FBI was able to get some undercover guys in from out of town, and they rented this restaurant and ran it as a restaurant. So their instructions were, do not approach anybody at the trap. Do not talk to anybody. Ignore them. And, they're going to come around, and they did sometimes. And pretty soon they started coming in, maybe eating or just sitting and having a conversation, a cup of coffee. And their deal was, as people would come in, they'd have agents come in like they were customers, and their deal was, we're taking money from people, and we've got a guy that runs up to Omaha and places bets on horses for you, and they got the racing forms and everything for the Exarban, the racetrack up in Omaha. So they were doing that, and what was funny was they like started winning, and they liked that. They were keeping the money. Well, the Bureau got kind of nervous about all that and messing with the money like that.
So it was just kind of like a storefront, right? It was like a restaurant operation.
It was just like a restaurant. It was a restaurant, you know. You walk in, there was a counter and some tables and chairs and a small kitchen, and just ran a restaurant. But none of the mob guys ever, you know, picked up on that or even tried to. They came in, matter of fact, after we served search warrants, after all the skim investigation had gone on. We'd been up on like 20-some wiretaps at one time in Kansas City. They took it all down on Valentine's Day. And the next day, Tuffy Luna's sitting in there with Joe Ragusa, who was one of their guys, one of their kind of underlings, and Charlie Mortina, who was another made guy. And I think Vince Abbott might have been there, but there's 3 or 4 of them sitting around, and they're all complaining. Well, Tuffy, obviously, he's in charge. He's kind of dominating the conversation, talking about, well, it looks like we're all going to maybe serve a little hitch or two. He said, you gotta get your old ladies primed and ready for this, as I'm brainwashing Sandy now. What he meant was, you got to get your wives conditioned. The fact you're going to go to prison for a while. He's brainwashing Sandy now, getting her ready for the fact he's going away to the penitentiary. He didn't know it was going to be for like 25 years, and he was going to be an old man when he came out. And then the funniest thing was, see, he's the one that had the notes. And he kept real extensive notes. It's mentioned in the movie Casino, and he really did keep extensive notes. That when the agents put the notes together with the wiretaps and the surveillances and the informants and the people that became witnesses, they could make sense out of those notes, and really they helped cement the case against them for this conspiracy to skim money from the casino. So he's talking. He said, I got some bad shit in there. I had it all in a trash bag, and I was getting ready to go throw it away, but I hadn't gotten it thrown away yet. I got some kind of bad shit in there. Well, they didn't know how bad it was. If they would known he was trying to soft pedal it, that they've got these notes.
And that's what was in the trash bag?
Yeah, it wasn't in the trash bag. It was just in his dress drawer. He just was kept there. He's just one of these guys that kept everything.
Oh, okay.
As a friend of mine was helping with the search warrant once said, he's like one of these guys that just keeps everything. He never throws anything away. And so that was kind of an interesting little story.
Crazy to think this building used to be a Mafia social club. Please comment any key takeaways that you got from this interview. Seriously, I'd love to hear back from everybody on what they think about the Kansas City Mafia. They weren't really out there as much as the New York for the 5 families and all that, but there was other families scattered out through the United States, so please let me know your thoughts on them. And also, please share this video with anyone that you think will enjoy this type of content. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to get the rest of the Mafia Tour videos. Also, at the end of this video, you'll see the Mafia Tour playlist pop up, and watch all the other location videos we went to and shot. Thank you again for watching.